So we've got a brand new update from one of the developers at CD Projekt RED talking about Cyberpunk 2077 and how they are seeking your feedback for the future of this game and what they're doing actually right now for the game. So yeah, we're going to be taking a look at this post right here from Paolo Sasco of CD Projekt RED, diving into that one as well, and then going over a bunch of other news related to Cyberpunk 2077. So welcome back, Open World Games here. Hope you're doing good, and let's do this. Remember, leave a comment down below. I will be highlighting your comments in a very near future video. But let's do this. So, Paolo Sasco says this: today marks 1 month since Cyberpunk 2077's release. Some already beat the game, plenty are still playing, nobody yet uncovered everything we have prepared. It took years for The Witcher 3, so it will take quite a long time for this game too. I love observing this process. So it seems like there's some secrets in Cyberpunk 2077 we have not yet revealed. Now, no other game in my career took so much heart and dedication. Past 30 days I have been reading comments, watching videos, and learning. I know there is always something that can be done better, and if not better, you can do more of what was received well by an audience, always. But I want you to know that you are being heard. Patches released so far prove it. Have in mind that not everything can be addressed instantly. I have received thousands of messages. You are killing the battery on my phone, but I read all of it, even when it hurts. Thank you for the first 30 days of Cyberpunk 2077. If you want to take time to write your feedback, I would be pleased to read it. Thank you for playing. So what I'm going to do is actually throw this Twitter link in the description below. So go for it, have at it, send your feedback to Paolo Sasco and the team at CD Projekt RED, those that are working on Cyberpunk 2077 and the future of the game. So go for it. Don't be shy. Take your feedback seriously, because it looks like CD Projekt RED are seeking your feedback. Now, we got some interesting replies right here. This is a good one. It says, I hope the devs at Cyberpunk game are aware that there are people who truly love the game and who notice the passion and love put into it, be it score, quest, story, vehicle design, VA work, animations, the world design. There's not just an unnecessary hate bandwagon. That is so true. There are still people, a lot of people, that are loving the game and enjoying it despite the issues. Tagged a few of you. The game is special, Choombuzz. I waited years and I'm in love with the game. Currently trying to complete everything before heading into the final mission. I hope you're doing well. And Paolo Sasco, of course, really appreciated that post, as I'm sure many of the developers at CD Projekt RED did as well. You know, a lot of them did not know about the state of the game at launch, and they were kind of caught off guard by this. I guess you would call it like a forced release date, you know, in terms of the board and, of course, investors really pressuring the release of Cyberpunk 2077. So, yeah, it was good to see that post headed to the developers of the game. But, yeah, we got some other news here as well about the actual class action lawsuit. An update there. It says, Rosin Global Investor Council reminds CD Projekt RED investors of important February 22nd deadline in securities class action commenced by the firm. So what does this mean exactly? It means that anyone that is interested in the lawsuit, that actually invested in the company, has by February 22nd to actually participate. Now, this could also mean that the lawsuit is having trouble getting investors to participate in the class action lawsuit, that they're seeking more people. Because right now the lawsuit actually has not been approved by the court system. It is required they have an X amount of individuals that are willing to participate in a class action lawsuit. They may not actually have that. So that could be what we are dealing with right there, which of course would be good news for CD Projekt RED as well. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the lawsuit did go forward. So we'll see what happens with that one. All right. Here's an interesting post from the official Cyberpunk 2077 forums. Let me know what you think of this. It says, would you rather see multiplayer or more DLC expansions? This comes from Polden Goni Boy, who says, hey, just a quick question I have. I'm wondering if people on here would rather sacrifice multiplayer and get more than 2 expansions and the average amount of DLC, or if they would rather we get just as much DLC as we did from The Witcher, and in a few years' time see Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer. Personally, I would rather see more single-player expansions, but I want to hear all your thoughts too. So what we do know officially is that we'll be getting as much DLC as The Witcher 3 in terms of single-player DLC content for Cyberpunk 2077. Now, for the multiplayer version of Cyberpunk, that's a completely separate team, and that has nothing to do with the DLC for the single player that's happening for Cyberpunk 2077. You know, I expect the multiplayer to definitely happen for Cyberpunk simply because I think CD Projekt RED, and trust me, many other companies are going after the crown, which is GTA Online. That game, with the microtransactions, sells astronomically compared to everything around it. I mean, it's still in the top charts to this day. The base game as well as, you know, the microtransactions. So yeah, we'll see what happens here going forward with the multiplayer, but it'll go through. I think they're going to definitely develop that one. But let's get into some of the replies here as well. Soma James says, please add a poll, single player DLC, of course, ideally more than 2. Considering Cyberpunk 2 will never be a thing, 2 games in the same map makes no sense. Well, you know, they could just make a whole new map. There's other parts of the world they could explore with a Cyberpunk themed game. It doesn't have to be Nice City. Einol says both, they are separate games. Alexandro says, why does these kind of threads always assume they have to be mutually exclusive? I play multiplayer as long as it serves a purpose, but currently I do not see a point in multiplayer mode. I'd rather see single player mode's potential being fully achieved. The point of a multiplayer mode, at least from the CD Projekt RED standpoint, is to make them monies. At least that's my viewpoint of this. F Your Life says, I never have and never will play MMO, so no. Single player content only. So I think he says so no, period. And then single content only is what he wants. Arzanek says, to hell with multiplayer. Yoda says, single player DLC, a lot of them. I hate multiplayer. So it seems like the majority of you really want to see that single player content fleshed out for Cyberpunk 2077 going forward. Now, this is definitely an interesting one right here. Check this out. Cyberpunk 2077. Samurai band didn't know about Keanu Reeves' involvement. This kind of blew my mind right here. The band that plays music for Cyberpunk 2077 Samurai had no idea that Keanu Reeves was involved. Refused are the faces behind of the sound of Johnny Silverhand's band in the widely discussed game. So Inverse managed to sit down with the band and talk about bringing that dystopia sound to life. The most surprising nugget is in the interview is the fact that they were unaware that the Matrix star was playing the character at all. From Dennis Lyxon knew a little bit about the game and the Cyberpunk tabletop experience that influenced it, but they never could have dreamed that they would see Keanu Reeves stroll up next to them at E3. This is an incredible story right here. I hope they were like, you know what, let's redo my contract here since we're doing, you know, basically voice work for Keanu Reeves' Johnny Silverhand when singing. At least that's what I thought. But that's really cool to see how that unfolded. Now, of course, you got to remember that Keanu Reeves was kind of added later in development, and there's a whole discussion about how that actually influenced the development, and they changed a lot of the game based on the fact that they got Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk 2077. But that's a really cool tidbit right there for sure. Now, this is interesting right here. This talks about how modders shouldn't be expected to fix AAA games. Broken games are unacceptable, but today they're becoming the standard. Worse yet is the growing expectation that fan mods will fix broken products. That seems to be like the assessment with a lot of games that have released, except Anthem. You can't really mod that one. But when it comes to like single player open world games, you even have like Fallout 76 modders trying to fix that one. So on and so forth. So yeah, that is definitely true. But you know, I really do love the fact that we have the modding community willing to take that extra step to really address some of the bigger problems very quickly, by the way, with these games for sure. Now it's time for your top comments. Remember to leave a comment down below. Could end up right here in the video. So yeah, I did a recent video about Terrible news for CD Projekt RED. Future patches require review and oversight. So it seems like a legal team. If you want to watch this video, check it out on the channel. But a legal team is stepping in to really review what CD Projekt RED is doing with future patches, making sure that their word is, you know, something tangible. All right, so this is the first top comment. It says, if when CD Projekt RED gets through this, it will be the hardest lesson they've ever had to learn. I hope this all gets sorted out because I really do love their games. Yeah, that's what I also said in the video, that I want to see more from this team. Never Too Old Gaming says, why is that a bad thing? There was once a time that patches were quality reviewed before release. That was normal. Patches being released unreviewed is not. Totally agree. No idea who in the right mind would have a problem with this. Well, you know, CD Projekt RED would probably have a problem with this. Depends on the standards. If they're too picky, you know, it could delay the patches, which of course could be bad for consumers in that regard. It depends on, you know, if the oversight committee is also very slow at reviewing stuff. That's another issue. Is like, how quickly will they review it for the team? That's a whole other thing. So it could slow down the process, and that's the problem that, you know, CD Projekt RED could be facing as well. All right. Sir Santiago says, I'm starting to think that there was some truth to that false leak. I've seen that time and time again from you guys as well. Oni Faith says, I'll purchase this game again once it's finished. I wish CD Projekt RED the best in moving forward. It seems like a lot of you guys would be willing to revisit the game also if there was a definitive edition. I'll keep you guys up to date if that actually happens. There's been that wild, crazy rumor about a No Man's Sky style comeback for Cyberpunk 2077, which was completely dispelled by CD Projekt RED, the official Cyberpunk 2077 Twitter. But yeah, I'll let you know if that happens. Honestly, I do expect it in the next 2 years, where they release some sort of definitive edition. They do it for every game. Most companies do. But thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more Cyberpunk 2077 news and updates, and I will see you all next time. Take care.